My name is Maggie Chen, and I'm 72 years old now. This is my story. How I went from a broke single mother who couldn't even buy diapers to a woman who quietly turned the tables on the people who tried to take everything from me. It all came to a head on what was supposed to be my birthday dinner at a fancy Italian restaurant called Morello's. My older son Desmond and his wife Valencia had invited me to a private room there. They made it sound like a celebration, but I knew better. I'd been watching the signs for months. Let me take you back so you understand how I got here. When I was 24 years old, my first husband, Robert, walked out on me and our two little boys, Desmond, who was 3, and Tremaine, who was just 18 months. He left when the money ran out, plain and simple. One day he was there, the next he was gone. I had no job, no savings, and a fridge that held nothing but half a jar of grape jelly. Those were the hardest years of my life. I remember opening the kitchen cabinets and hearing them echo because they were empty. My only pair of shoes had a hole in the sole. Every morning I cut cardboard from cereal boxes to stuff inside so my feet wouldn't get wet. By afternoon, the cardboard was soaked anyway. I worked 3 jobs to keep us alive. I cleaned houses on Tuesdays and Thursdays for $17 cash. I worked nights at a real estate office answering phones and filing papers for $23 a shift. On weekends, I stocked shelves at the grocery store from midnight to 6 a.m. while a kind neighbor watched the boys for free. The boys always ate first. Macaroni and cheese from the box, peanut butter sandwiches, whatever I could stretch. I ate whatever was left after they went to bed, which was usually nothing. My stomach learned to stay quiet. The worst moment came one cold Thursday night in November. I was at the grocery store with Tremaine on my hip. I needed diapers and formula. The cashier scanned everything and my food stamp card was declined. Again and again. Declined. I felt the eyes of the whole line behind me. I started putting things back. First the diapers, then 1 can of formula. I was going to water it down to make it last. The man behind me sighed loudly. That's when I broke. Tears came hot and fast. I turned away and buried my face in Tremaine's baby hair. That's when a gentle voice spoke up. "Miss, I'd like to help." I looked up and saw a tall man with kind brown eyes and a name tag that said, Bernard, night manager. He told me it wasn't charity, it was just help, and there's a difference. He paid for everything. Diapers, both cans of formula, even a jar of peanut butter I couldn't afford. 3 months later, he asked me to coffee. 6 months after that, he proposed with a ring he'd saved 4 months' paychecks for. We got married at City Hall on a Tuesday. Bernard loved my boys like his own. He never once called them stepsons, just my sons. We bought a little 3-bedroom craftsman house in 1979 for $78,000. It had yellow kitchen countertops and a big oak tree in the backyard. Life finally felt stable. Bernard worked nights, I got my real estate license, and Sundays were pancake mornings. He'd flip them so high they stuck to the ceiling, and the boys would laugh until their sides hurt. We had 12 happy years together. Then came the headaches, the weight loss, the jaundice, pancreatic cancer. 3 weeks from diagnosis to goodbye. I held his hand until it went cold at 3:47 a.m. on a Tuesday, the same day we got married. The life insurance paid off the house and put money aside for Desmond's college. I threw myself into work and became a really good real estate agent. I raised the boys alone, but we made it. In 2003, I sold a big mansion to a young tech guy. While we signed papers, he told me I should invest in early-stage companies. He mentioned a startup that was selling books online, still figuring out its name, maybe Amazon. I had $30,000 saved. On a whim, I put half of it, $15,000, into that company. I forgot all about it. Life went on. Desmond followed me into real estate. Tremaine became a teacher and soccer coach, married a wonderful man named Felipe. Then, in 2015, while looking for old photos, I found the stock certificate in a shoebox. Amazon had become Amazon. That $15,000 had turned into $3.4 million. I sat on my bedroom floor in shock. Most people would have told their kids right away. I didn't. Something stopped me. Desmond had started talking a lot about money, buying rental properties, building wealth. He talked about his tenants like numbers, not people. And Valencia, the way she looked at my house sometimes made my skin crawl, like she was already measuring the rooms for new furniture. I remembered too well what it felt like to be powerless. I never wanted to feel that again. So I found a lawyer, Octavia Brennan, sharp, tough, and far enough away that no one knew her. I set up trusts for both boys. Tremaine's would start at age 45, Desmond's at 50. The house went into its own untouchable trust, and I added a special clause that if anyone tried to have me declared mentally incompetent to take control of my assets, they would lose their entire inheritance forever. Octavia warned me it was aggressive. I told her I'd spent too many years powerless. I wasn't going back. I kept living simply. Same old Honda, same house, same quiet life. I donated anonymously to the high school, built a new library wing, started scholarships for kids from tough backgrounds, but I told no one about the money. Then the signs started. Desmond casually asked if I'd updated my will. He looked in my fridge and said I wasn't eating well, suggested the house was too big for me, too much work. Valencia started calling about my doctor appointments, offering to organize my tills. They mentioned a beautiful assisted living community. I knew what was coming. The fancy birthday invitation arrived. Gold lettering, private room at Morello's. I knew it wasn't a celebration. It was an ambush. I prepared carefully. Navy dress, pearl buttons, my mother's necklace, and the manila folder with all the proof. At the restaurant, Desmond greeted me with a fake smile. Valencia barely looked up from her phone. Tremaine and Felipe arrived soon after. Tremaine had known the truth for a year. I trusted him because he still remembered what it was like to be hungry. We ordered expensive champagne and appetizers I didn't taste. At exactly 7:30, Valencia cleared her throat and started. They said they were concerned about my memory, claimed the doctor said I was confused, suggested it was time to move to assisted living, for my own good, of course, and maybe transfer the house deed now to avoid complications later. Valencia raised her glass and said coldly, "This is your last meal before you go to a nursing home. Might as well enjoy it." The room went dead silent. Even the waiter froze. I reached into my purse, pulled out the folder, and slid it across the table. "And this," I said calmly, "is your last meal while you still have an inheritance." Desmond's face went white. His hands shook as he opened it. Valencia leaned in, and I watched the color drain from her face. I explained everything. The trusts, the house protected forever, and the challenge clause they had just triggered by trying to declare me incompetent. Desmond had lost his entire share, about $1.7 million. Tremaine smiled quietly beside me. He'd warned me Desmond was becoming too much like his biological father, the one who left when times got hard. Desmond begged. Valencia threatened to fight it in court. I told her Octavia never lost, especially not in cases protecting elders from greedy family. They stormed out. I stayed and enjoyed chicken marsala and tiramisu with Tremaine and Felipe, my real family, that night. Desmond called weeks later, wanting to explain. I told him maybe in a year, if he could take real responsibility. I heard later Valencia divorced him. Money was gone, so was she. Now I'm still in my house with the yellow kitchen counters and the oak tree, still driving my old Honda, still working because I love it. Tremaine will get his share in a few years. He'll probably give most of it to help kids who need it. Desmond, that's up to him. I learned something important through all of this. The person who looks weakest in the room, the quiet old lady everyone underestimates, might actually be the strongest one there. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes it's patient. Sometimes it waits, watches, and plans. So if you've ever been treated like you don't matter because you're old or poor or alone, if someone has looked at you and seen only what they can take from you, remember this: your strength is still there. You don't have to shout. You don't have to fight dirty. Just be smart. Be patient. Protect yourself quietly. And when the time comes, let your actions do the talking. Because quiet justice feels better than any loud revenge ever could. And surviving, it's not just getting to the other side. It's choosing every single day